Everyone in the room, including Emiya himself, was taken aback. Mordred could sense the tension in the air and positioned herself ready to protect Ghana, even though in distance.
What do you mean, kill me? His heroic spirit name is Zero Emiya, Archer class, and yes, he is you from the future. Still think it's a mouthful, Rin?
Archer?
He's right, Rin. But now I want you to answer this. If I were to do that, would I achieve my goal? No, you would simply be murdering an innocent without gaining anything. How do you know all of this? Did you are friends in the future? No, I utilized the perfect reveal scroll on the third day of the Holy Grail War in my original singularity. It provides detailed information about all the participants, including their past, present, and even potential future. It is difficult to believe as if it is a dream. A dream? Let me add fuel to the fire. Ilya, she is your older sister. Rin, let Sakura call you big sister once in a while.
Everyone in the room felt a sense of confusion and bewilderment, as if they had lost themselves in the midst of the revelation and truths that Ghana had just revealed.
Now, do you all understand?
I trust you for having no ill intention, but not to your plan to stop this war. I want to know more.
Every time you make a wish with the Holy Grail, a new singularity is created while the previous one still exists. Your past world becomes a historical event, which becomes a singularity, and your current world where your wish is granted also become a point of a historical event which also a singularity, an endless loop. I see, so the Holy Grail cannot grant the wish without creating a new world. If you wish to become the greatest mage in the world, the Grail will create a singularity where you are the only mage, making you the strongest. It fulfills your wish within that singularity. So essentially, you end up in a new reality tailored to your desires? Yes, exactly.
But why does the Holy Grail do that? Why create new singularities instead of granting the wish in the same place?
Because the Holy Grail is just an ancient artifact with a being residing within it. Similar to the genie in the lamp, but worse. The motive is still unknown, but so far it is because of their nature, to witness war and destruction.
Then who or what is that being? Jinn, wasn't it?
You're familiar with the stories?
I've read some religious texts mentioning them.
Jinn were the first beings to inhabit the earth and the seven heavens, and Shaitan is their descendant. There is no corner of the seven heaven they haven't visited and worshipped God on that spot.
If they are obedient to God, where are they now? In heaven?
They were, but when God created the first man, God commanded all the creation to prostrate before Prophet Adam. All God's creations obeyed except the jinn. Despite their obedience to God, they were prideful and refused to submit. Their nature is inherently warlike, and conflict is always on their minds.
So Earth became their playground?
Yes, and because of this, God sent angels to eradicate them. Some jinn fled to the deepest depths of the sea, while others took on different forms to hide.
Some sought refuge within ancient artifacts. But something doesn't make sense. Does God know about these singularities?
I believe, yes, because singularities only occur within the first layer of heaven.
Huh?
First layer of heaven? Don't tell me, Earth is in the first layer of heaven? Imagine there are 7 layers of heaven. We currently reside in the first layer, where all the observable galaxies and stars are located. It is expanded but still in the first layer of heaven.
What about the second layer of heaven?
All I can say is, the difference between the first and second layers of heaven is like a small ring thrown into the vast Sahara Desert. And the difference between the second and third layers is like a small ring thrown into the vast Sahara Desert, and so on, and so on.
So compared to the 7th layer, we are nothing.
Exactly. The number of singularities occurring in the first layer of heaven doesn't matter in the grand scheme. However, their impact is felt by humanity itself. With more and more singularities, more heroic spirits emerge, more battle and senseless deaths multiply. That is what I want to put an end to. Is this being strong? Yes, they are powerful beings, known as Ifrit class Jinn. They are not to be underestimated. If you want to understand their strength, imagine an enormous palace, stretching as far as the eye can see, the palace of the Queen of Sheba. An Ifrit Jinn lifted and transported her entire palace to the Prophet Solomon in an instant, without breaking a sweat. I recall those stories. But how do we even stand a chance against something that could crush us in an instant? We fight them using their own weapons, the scrolls that I possess. If Mordred in my previous singularity was able to battle an Ifrit inside the Holy Grail, then together we can certainly defeat one. We simply need to overlap their domain and limit their power. The rest is just hit them hard.
Why does their domain need to overlap?
They are extremely strong inside their own domain. They have control over everything within it, from their power to their sizes. Overlapping their domain is a means to limit their ability. Servants cannot step on their domain freely or they get despawned in an instant, or if you are not despawned you will become their pawn. Now answer me this: what is the relationship between the Throne of Heroes and the Holy Grail? The relationship between the two can be described as symbiotic mutualism. The Throne of Heroes continues to exist by receiving the souls of heroes from various singularities and kept them, while the Holy Grail remains in existence by granting wishes and creating new singularities. Thus, it will create endless cycle of war. For now, that is the observable motives I can think of.
You mentioned the scroll you used to reveal our identity and summon Mordred. May I take a look at the scroll?
Ghana hands one of the scrolls to Rin. Rin examines it carefully, her eyes widening in recognition of the patterns and usage.
I've read about this particular scroll in a book. It's a lost scroll from the Library of Alexandria. You're the Scholar of Alexandria? I thought the Scholar of Alexandria was already gone.
Ghana gazes at Ryder and gives her a disdainful look.
That's correct. Our identities are being kept secret by the Mage Association. My ancestors were the Scholars of Alexandria, and I'm the last remaining descendant. My parents died in the Fourth Holy Grail War, leaving me all alone.
Suddenly, Ciro begins to act strangely, clutching his head with both hands as memories flood back to him. He finds himself in the midst of a crumbling city, consumed by flames. The air is filled with the desperate cries of people in need, and death looms all around. Ciro, as a young child, stands in the center of the chaos, remembering the devastating aftermath of a past Holy Grail war. Concerned for her master, Artoria rushes to Ciro's side, offering her support to help him through this psychological turmoil.
Senpai.
What's wrong, Ciro? I want to put an end to this war. No more unnecessary death. Then I will need all of your strength. What do we gain from defeating this being? We can override the rules. After his defeat, we will rewrite the rules and stop the Holy Grail War across many singularity. This singularity will become a safe haven for all heroic spirits, where the true originals can be summoned, rather than mere copies. Just like accessing the root of a database from a client? Wait, that means... Yes, and yes, you will come back to life once again, but you will retain your immortality. If you are killed, you will die as a normal human, your flesh will decay as it is meant to.
How do you know this much?
Let's say, I got visitor from the future that proved my hypothesis is correct. And when we die, we go to the afterlife, correct? Yes, that's correct. No, isekai, nonsense are being reborn back into this world. We will go to the afterlife, just like anyone else. Your current original souls are trapped and not just being recorded in the Throne of Heroes. This plan will set the souls free.
What will happen in the other singularities?
The other singularities will continue to exist. Once they are recorded, they will remain and retain in the Throne of Heroes, but at least the souls of true originals will no longer be bound within the Throne of Heroes. If they are summoned, they will appear in this singularity as original. So, please, help me. Rin, Sakura, Ciro, Ilya, Big Sister Fraga, and Soichiro.
After thoughtful consideration, everyone agrees to lend their assistance. They willingly join Ghana in his mission, driven by their understanding of the future. They realize that if they don't take action now and rebel against the system, this singularity will remain nothing but another living hell.